Hello everybody. In this video, we will try to understand some more interesting things about Purvashadha Nakshatra. So Purvashadha Nakshatra is known as Aparajita. Aparajita means undefeated. Generally, the behavior of this nakshatra is victorious. So, if you observe the symbol of this particular nakshatra, a hand-held fan is a symbol of this nakshatra, is the most famous symbol associated with this nakshatra. Here, fan is the main symbolism. And what kind of fan is it? It's a hand-held fan. See, as a decorative item, right, this fan was being used in some of the cultures like Japanese or some Oriental cultures. In ancient times, they were using a fan as a decorative item. If you observe what is fan basically, why our ancient Vedic seers associated a handheld fan, right? So of course, in ancient times, there was no electric fan, but they were very clear that when a fan was revolved, it would give some air, right? Some kind of wheel, some kind of fan kind of structure they were very much aware of in ancient times. And this fan can be used to cool oneself down in hot conditions. And fan is used to level up the fire. And it can also be used as a mask to hide oneself. Right? See, a handheld fan is not the electric fan that we are seeing now. In ancient times, was a handheld fan. There were so many handheld fans in every house. There was a fan, right? Generally, they were using it to level up the fire while cooking also. And please remember that Sagittarius is a fiery sign. See, and a fan in ancient times, in some of the cultures, was also being used as a decorative item. When a person, after getting ready, then people used to hold a fan, right, just as a decorative piece. So this decorativeness is associated with the planetary ruler of this nakshatra, that is Venus. Its first use is as a decorative item, right? It relates to the showy, glitzy and glamorous Venusian aspect of this particular nakshatra. And in the ancient Orient, the type of fan one carried was directly related to social status also. Because poor people the time were unable to afford fans. But as a social status, right, for some of the richest people, they were using fans, a handheld fan especially. So basically this conveys the superiority aspect of this nakshatra. So I want to explain here, I want to tell Purvashadha energy feels superior. It feels superior fundamentally, and it finds itself superior in comparison to all nakshatras before it. This is a very, very important thing. Whenever you discuss Purvashadha energy, remember that Purvashadha energy people consider themselves as very much superior compared to the previous nakshatras, right? That is from Ashwini to Mula. They are superior or not, it is another thing, but what they feel, how they feel, is they feel superior to the nakshatras before it. So especially the earlier Venusian ones, so especially Bharani, Purva Falguni, compared to whenever a Purvashadha encounters Bharani or Purva Falguni, it feels superior to them. And the superiority of perfection achieved in the Venusian realm, if you observe, right? So, and here, of course, whether they are really superior or not, it is not the question here. They feel superior compared to the previous nakshatras when they encounter previous nakshatras. So here I want to tell you, Purvashadha energy people, they have a behavior to consider themselves as superior to others, especially the nakshatras before it, and especially the Venusian nakshatras before it, that are Bharani and Purva Falguni. Even Bharani and Purva Falguni also consider themselves as superior, but compared to them, Purvashadha feels very much superior to the previous nakshatras. Also compared to the other Venusian nakshatras, also on these Venusian nakshatras, right? So they feel superior. That's what I want to tell. So another important thing is cooling down in hot conditions. So this one corresponds to this nakshatra's ability to get through hard times. So whenever hard times come, Purvashadha has the energy to get through. So fanning is essentially an act of aggression against heat, right? So when the nature is releasing heat, the fan is actually working against the nature, against the natural, right, against the natural energy, and it is able to cool down. So it is able to fight. That is the main important thing. So they can fight against the hard times. They can fight. They have that energy of fighting against the hard times. So this particular nakshatra is very much associated with all kinds of aggressive activities. So when someone is showing aggression, or someone is showing or giving you some uncomfortable situations, how you behave, you sit down or you go against. Here Purvashadha always go against. If you give a tough situation, they would not sit silently. They would try to fight through the situation, right? So they are also aggressive because when an uncomfortable situation arises, if you are aggressive enough to fight against the situation, then only the hard time you can pass through those hard times, right? So Purvashadha is able to do that. That's what I want to tell. And it is patient in adversity and aggressive whenever the opportunity arises, right? It has that behavior, it has that tendency. And another important thing is, the fan can be used to level up the fire. So this corresponds to this nakshatra's ability to keep a thing going on. And in its negative aspect, this may manifest as exaggeration or over expansion, right? It is able to level up, it is able to fire up, it is able to keep the momentum going on. So, in its positive aspect, if you observe, it is an inspiring energy, right? So, to keep the things burning, to keep the things working on, to keep the things going on, right? So that is the energy of Purvashadha. So as a result, it is very, very expressive and expansive in nature. So basically, you can clearly understand the third thing that you're telling here, that is, keep a thing going on, keep the things burning on, keep the momentum going forward. So, in its positive aspect, this behavior is very much inspiring, right? Because you are making the things burning on. That is Purvashadha, right? So, when Purvashadha energy is activated, then it can act as a fuel to keep the things burning on. But in its negative aspect, it's a kind of exaggeration or over expansion, right? So basically, it is in the heart of the sign Sagittarius. The ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter, is very much famous for expansion, because Jupiter is a kind of biggest planet. It's a very big planet, right? So that has a capacity to expand. So it is a kind of expressive and expansive nakshatra, you can say. And another important thing is, it acts as a mask to hide oneself, to hide oneself. So you can hide, right? So it is related to this particular nakshatra's ability to conceal facts. So generally, Purvashadha energy people, they can conceal the fact. They know the fact, but they want to conceal it, right? Conceal the facts, informations, feelings, personality. They have this ability, right? So it is in a way a shy and sensitive nakshatra as well. So in that way also you can think. So as they are shy enough to conceal their personality, so they even conceal their enthusiasm, their bubbliness from the outside world as much as possible. They conceal it. They show only a kind of shy and sensitive nature to outside people, but they conceal all the enthusiasm that they have on a particular thing. See, only after some initial reluctance, and when it begins to gain confidence, it shows its true colors. Until then, it behaves very shy and sensitive. So the thing is, in order to know the true behavior of Purvashadha, you may need to interact with them more and more. The more you interact, right? So they will open up one day, and you can try to know their true behavior, right? So that true behavior can be a positive thing or a negative thing. It depends on other planetary positions, but yes, they can conceal the facts, information, their personality, their feelings, and all. And another important symbolism, alternative symbolism to explain the behavior of Purvashadha, is winnowing basket used for ridding grain of husks, right? So a winnowing basket that is used for ridding the riddling grain of husk. So it's very famous in village areas of India, you can say, right? And even I'm not sure about other parts of the world, and I think everybody in ancient times, or just before the industrial revolution also, these things know, or just after the industrial revolution, there's, you know, the riddling grain of husks, a winnowing basket, right? Of It's used for riddling grain of husks, is very much famous. So what does it mean? The symbolism indicates something here. It's something like the winnowing fan is similar to that. It is expressing its behavior, that uncovering hidden talents. So when you try to uh, you know train this particular nakshatra, Purvashadha nakshatra, when you train it more and more, it becomes better. It Even the hidden talents of this nakshatra can come out. That is the important thing. So this nakshatra is capable of shedding outer unnecessary obstacles in order to bring out the useful part inside. Even if you don't train also, they would self train, and they would try to, you know, they can try to bring out the inside, the talents that they have. So this can be related to, you know, the places that they go, right, or the things that they are dealing with, the career or anything. So you need to train them up. Or even if we don't train them up, they would train themselves, and they would try to bring out their talents. They have this capacity. That's where this winnowing basket, this what it does actually, it removes the outer part of the grain, and it shows you the grain. It gives you the grain. The inside part means the inside part is, it is more, it has more worth. It is the main content of the grain, right? So it can shred the outer part, and it can show the inner part, right? So that is Purvashadha basically. You got it? So whenever you talk about Purvashadha, we generally talk more positive things, but there are some negative things associated with it. See, it is able to conceal the facts, means it is able to conceal the talent inside, or the conceal their behavior, their personality. That means if a Purvashadha person is negative, you may not know very quickly. Because of some malefic aspects in the horoscope, the person can be negative also sometimes, right? Then you may take some time. Initially you may just see their shyness and sensitiveness, and you may think they are good. But if you want to know their true colors, you may need to interact with them multiple times to know their aggressive behavior, or to know their real intent, right, that they have. You may need to interact with them. So whenever you're dealing with a Purvashadha person, you should deal with some care. Some proper care is required here as a caution, right? And of course they have, see, for self growth, they might be having so many talents. They might be having some orderly behavior, good discipline, or whatever. That is for their self growth. But what about the other persons that they are dealing with Purvashadha? They have to be careful, because you may need to know their behavior, right, the true intent. Because Purvashadha can be positive or negative also, but most of the percentage it is positive. But some of the percentage, if they have some wrong intent, it's not possible for you to know it very quickly. For outsiders, I'm telling, right? So that is the main thing. See, they have the ability to go through the hard times. They can overcome them with their great effort, or they have that enough patience to wait for the moment, and when the moment comes they can be aggressive, or you can say they can conceal their real intent and real personality, feelings and thoughts, and they can show some kind of shyness and sensitiveness for the outer world. They have the ability to grow as they are being trained more, or they if they train themselves, or if somebody trains them, right, they can get better. They can get better and more better, much better, whatever, right? These are all the positive things. These are all the positive things. They have the expansive quality, they have the expressive quality, they are inspiring if it is working very positively, the whole energy of Purvashadha. Those are all there, right? I'm not telling it's a very very super great nakshatra, but it is a decent enough, a good enough nakshatra, right, for their self growth. Those things are good enough, right? But what about others? If the others that are dealing with Purvashadha, right, they have to take care or not? Yes, the outsiders who are dealing with Purvashadha have to take care, because in order to know their true behavior and true intent, right, you may need to interact with them much. You may need to talk to them much, because they do not open up completely. To some extent, of course, they open up, but right. So that is about Purvashadha Nakshatra. In our next video, we'll try to understand much more about Purvashadha. Thanks for watching this video.